Ladies and gentlemen, here they are, late to the gate and racing out of lane 8. Your men, Dex, Boota and Isid.
Riders ready, watch the gate.
Bikes to the van, phone in hand, BMX track in the foreign land. Dex missed his flight, it's late, I don't know why we're late to the gate. And bikes, we ride all night. Euro trips and rider hype. From nationals to car park chats, we chase that dream in new era caps. Sugar daddies in the VIP. BMX moms still faster than me. Dex and Boona is it too. Talking trash, we ride it true. Baggy jeans and studded belts. The body is chaos, nothing else. Clips or flats, deadlifts or squats. Still arguing like it means a lot. Crank it up to 99. UK tracks with Euro lines. We're always slow, we talk a lot, but for real, this is all we've got. Late to the date, y'all.
That intro was quite something. So everyone's heard that for the first time ever, and there's probably people all over the world, because I'm sure that's who's listening, people from all over the world going, what on earth have we just listened to? That's a Euro banger.
You know what it reminds me of? It was, do we do it anymore, Sean, where before the finals, they get there's a signature track that comes on before each round?
The jingle!
The jingle!
Whoa!
All riders report to the park for me for the semi-finals. That's what it reminds me of.
Kind of. It's been a while since I've been to a Euro round, but it was always a bassy one that you could feel through the floor, weren't it? That you just
yeah. If you were at your campsite, you knew that the racing was started because there was a jingle or there was something that came on and we just rocked it each round.
I remember at Hacksbergen there was one. Yeah, it just coming on, and it was a Euro banger. One of those.
I mean, AI has done a great thing there, hasn't it? That needs releasing.
It honestly, it's amazing the tech that's there. So I wanted to change the music, and I messed about with something and sent it to you, and you were like, it needs to be a Euro banger, and we should probably talk about why it needed to be a Euro banger. So I was searching for royalty-free Euro music. By the way, you promised to do that at work, and you didn't.
I did.
So I dug in myself,
Sorry.
And the internet just presented this app, and it just did everything. It wrote the words, it wrote the music, it sang it. I told it to give it a Dutch accent. It gave it a Dutch accent.
Mate, I think it's the beauty of me being lazy and don't do jobs for this podcast has created that. Otherwise, we might have just had a mediocre one, but that is phenomenal. And I can't wait to listen to that over and over again. I might not listen to the pod, just play the first minute, guys, over and over.
So in the UK, is there a signature tune when it's final time? Because I'm sure they've done that as well. Like they've played the same old tune.
Yeah, it's usually the same. We get an air horn followed by all aboard, and then it's usually a bit of a drop. Casey does a good job on the DJ. He's taken over the reins from DJ Fly's Rise. Ryan Dick used to obviously do it, and then Casey from Leicester. We got him in through the back door. He knows all. He's got basically Ryan's playlist. He does a great job.
Brilliant. Well,
so you're saying there's a chance that we can come on before finals,
mate. I'll tell him.
Sure, that's your next assignment. That before the finals we get to drop the podcast intro tune.
Birmingham Friday night, the national champs. I'll get that. I'll see if I can get that on.
Excellent.
Casey, I hope you're listening. I'm sliding into your DMs in a sec.
So it had to be a Euro banger because I think for all of us three, and I don't know how many people share this sentiment, the Euro trips were just the highlight of any BMXing year. And it had to be a North Euro trip. Holland, Belgium, Germany, perhaps.
The Dutch ones were the ones, weren't they?
They were the best.
Just carnage. Hacksberg was a good one. Erp was a good one. It's just I always say I remember talking to Will Good and Josh Barsby, and they were like thinking about quitting at the age of 16, and I was like, just hold on for 2-3 more years. Don't even worry about elite. You just need to be old enough to go Euro rounds on your own, and you'll love it.
That's true. And did they stay in the sport because of that?
No.
No.
Yeah, they didn't listen to my advice.
But that would be that is cracking advice. You know, don't just roll around the track, but get yourself to a Euro round. Hey, what happened about Euro rounds? Can anyone do them? Or because when I left the UK, they were restricting it that you had to be a certain caliber to rock up. Because in fairness, the Euro rounds that I rode, I wasn't of the caliber. I shouldn't have really been there. So what's the script now?
You know, I don't actually know. We'll probably get told after. But from what I remember, I don't know if it's been priced out. But there's not as much fodder that goes anymore. The fodder bell don't get rang that often anymore. For anyone who don't know what the fodder bell is, yeah, the fodder bell was brilliant. We used to take a fodder bell, and it was Ellie Goodman at the back. If she saw a slow rider, it has to be a slow ring. Can't be a quick ring. It has to be a really slow ring for the fodder at the back.
Well, we better clarify that who's allowed to go, because they were talking about making it harder to go, and like not anyone could just rock up to a Euro round or Euro champs. So we'll have to find out.
Euro tramps, brilliant.
That's a different pod.
It's a completely different one. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I was creased up laughing when I made that because I knew that Izzet and Buta would fully dig and understand and love it.
It's niche, isn't it? It is niche.
Niche.
And like to our experience, I played it for my wife, and she was a bit like, "Yeah, I don't really get it."
I was
fine.
bouncing around the room, punching the ceiling.
I've told Kim about it. I haven't played it yet, but I've warned her that she might not appreciate it.
Did she listen, actually, Kim?
I don't know. She used to listen to all my other podcasts, but I don't know whether she listens to this one. Shout out to her if she is listening.
She probably doesn't want to.
I wouldn't blame her if she wasn't.
No.
Silly little podcast that gets you up at 5:30 in the morning to do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that she's not particularly happy about. Last night she sat there and she was like, "So what time are we getting up tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Well, I have to be up about 4:30."
I love that. How committed you are.
We do need to return that favour.
Yeah.
Because it's 9 p.m. for me and Sean, and it's what for you, Dex?
It's just gone 6.
Yeah.
We could start
I'd like
earlier,
to
but
say.
there's half an hour of Izzet's technical issues.
Yeah, we should have been started half an hour ago. That's
So
why I'm
where
sat
are
on
you
the
sat?
floor.
You're in a
I'm
different
sat-
place. Where are you?
Today we are sat on the floor in the front room. So you've had me kitchen, you've had me upstairs office. You're now experiencing the front room.
Well, it's better.
Yeah. Well, I am sat right next to the router, or router. Is it router over there? What do you call it?
In Australia, it's router. Yeah, routing is an activity that happens under the sheets in Australia.
Okay.
So if you say, "Oh, where's the router?" It's like, what?
So that's another podcast. There's 3
Exactly. And if you say,
spin-offs.
"Oh, like I'm rooting about in the back closet looking for something," what? Router doesn't sound correct to me.
Good old-fashioned oil drilling.
All right, so this is a quick turnaround. We were doing this just last week, and we've got together again, but probably it was worth doing because we got this out ahead of Sarrians, and, God willing, we'll get this out ahead of Papendal as well.
Yeah.
It's truly professional, isn't it? It's becoming a thing.
Actually, and another thing, and I want to make sure I don't forget this, because we just listened to the podcast jingle just before, just to make sure we were hyped. But because this has gone out in the new intro, which we haven't listened to in full, there's actually Scott Dick at the beginning as well. So shout out to Uncle Buck BMX, Scott Dick, for doing that entry. He, to me, is probably national commentary. That's who I associate with BMX UK national commentary, and he was gracious enough to do that. So you got the full thing. We just listened to the music, so I just slipped my mind. Thanks, Scott.
Cheers, Scott.
He's
Legend.
got some lines, isn't he? I won't say on the pod what he calls me by my head, but we've got nicknames for each other.
It's
But
not
he's got some
complimentary.
No, it's not. He's got some great lines though, isn't he, on the track? I mean, he's always come out with a good one. But
He does,
you do a great impression of him, by the way.
Buta does.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's setting me up for failure a little bit, but yeah, he's got that smooth voice, hasn't he? And it's to be honest with you, I think that was when I started racing. He was the voice, and Pete Kirk.
Yeah. Kirky.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. Yeah.
Because I can remember my early days bike videos. If you remember Gav Foster.
Yeah.
Those DVDs, DVDs of the racing. When I listened to them early days, when I watched them early days, I don't even think I've got a DVD player anymore to actually listen to them back. But the Pete Kirk, most of them are Pete Kirk, a bit of Rich and a bit of Scott. So
I liked Scott. Scott was quality until he started going blind, and then he couldn't see any of the number plates and just made it up all the way around. I think that's why he stopped in the end. I remember like Ryan in the background shouting numbers to him because he's like, "Here we go, right then, first straight," like saying no one because he couldn't. He's just shouting at the microphone until they were literally coming around the second corner.
he just used filler, wouldn't he? He just, it's your man. Where's he from? Is he from the Hawks? Is it the Hawks? There he is. He's waxing it out, down a second straight. Just never, no detail.
That's it. That's the impression.
Class.
Yeah, and he still comes through on the Hawks email as well.
Yeah.
Oh, good old boy.
Brilliant. Thank you, Scott Dick.
Thank you,
All
Scott.
right, back to racing then. Yeah, so Sarrians, how did that go? Let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about Gosport.
AP 130.
Yeah. Sarrians, yeah. Sarrians was like quintessential French supercross round, full of French under 23s. The French won both days in the men. God, what else can we say about it? I like Sarrians track. I think it's a good show. Pillard comes through again. What did he get? Did he got a first and a third? Andre got a third and then a first again.
Yeah.
I think.
Andre
Andre looked amazing. And
When is he going to slow down?
See, I don't think he is, because we shared that picture, didn't we, Sean, of his like physical build? Because he's a bit of a man. He's a bit of a man crush for us, really.
We love him.
Like
yeah,
if there was a guy that I could model myself after, it would be Sylvain Andre. And I thought he's in great shape. He's winning. He's hungry. And that second day when he's gaining on Pillard and he passes him down the third straight into the last turn out, it was brilliant. Perfect. Just reeled him in.
Oh.
Yeah, reeled him in. So yeah, what to say about Sarrion? I think it's exciting. What else should we do? Should we do it class by class, or
Well, the girls.
I've got the results here?
Molly
It'll be
Simpson.
good, yeah.
I want to talk about Molly Simpson. Like, I know she's been on the cusp, but she looks like she's finally putting it together.
Yeah, I said this about her last year because it was when Elise got pregnant, and I thought, well, there's a bit of a gap here. If there's Delaney Vaughan and Peyton Radnauer, if they don't, if they're around in and around that kind of class, who's going to take it over? And I think Molly could. I think she looks really good. I think she looks.
She's
really,
always
really
had.
good.
She's already had the snap, hasn't she? But then now she looks like she's got a bit of an engine for it. So I mean, her hill times were great. I think she was the fastest hill time by a bit of a margin. To be fair, wasn't she?
I don't know, Sean. You're bringing out facts that we haven't been prepared for. But
Mate, you just said you've got the results in front of you. I didn't. I thought
I've got the results.
Thought you'd
I'm
have
looking
time.
at the gate. Yeah, I'm looking at the gate results. So I'm looking at obviously day one, Zoe, Saya second, Molly third, and then day two was obviously Molly first, Beth second, Delaney Vaughan third, and Saya was down in fifth. So they were the same people roughly, but yeah, she's flying. She's flying, Molly.
I mean, we thought Saya was going to light it up, didn't we? To be fair,
And she did, broadly speaking. I think it's fair to say that, like, I think we've just been used to her winning, haven't we? But the temptation was before it started, was to say Romain and Saya to kill it, but Romain really didn't have a great weekend. And looks like he's taking a bit of time out to just sort of reevaluate things.
needed some time.
Sometimes it's not that the ones you expected that aren't any good. It's the fact that the ones that you didn't expect it have just really stepped it up, And I watched the interview from day two with Molly, and she's been in the game for a while, and it was a number of years since she'd made the podium. And then, and she's still just been there, and then stitched it all together this weekend, and we'll see what happens in Papendal as well.
I think stitching it together is a good thing. Great link, by the way. We'll chuck the Ross Cullen thing in now, because Ross Cullen was rapid all over the stats. If you look at the whole track, he was like leading everything, but just didn't stitch it together, I suppose, did he?
Yeah, it'll come. With Ross, I think, yeah, you're right. Every section, I think he got, hill time, first turn, everything like that. And it's just one of those classes, isn't it? It was so competitive, some little mix, little slip here and there. It was about who makes the least mistakes. And
Do we
speed's
know what happened on his quarter yet, where like three of them went over the gate? Well, they didn't go over the gate, but they flinched and then hit the gate.
Officially, no, but I think I heard a noise. I think there was a noise. Yeah,
I couldn't hear it because I was watching it racing, but I saw the cameraman move in lane one, so I didn't know if that was an issue. But if you've heard a noise, you've heard a noise.
Could have been. Cameraman could have stepped back onto something, but I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it back. I only watched semis onwards. I didn't watch the quarters.
Yeah, I kind of like that, by the way, in terms of they almost made it a little bit of a production, didn't they, from the semi honours with a bit of highlights before as well. It confused the hell out of me trying to watch the quarters and then into the semis. Sorry, the dog's just showing the arse.
Dog's welcome. It's making less noise than before.
You're in.
How did because I only watched the end of the racing. How did Quillen get on?
Quarters, day one. Don't know about day two, to be fair, because I was trying to race at the same time. It's hard. I don't like that, by the way. I think that needs to change. I don't know who organises that, but a World Cup at a national is not ideal.
It's not because a lot of your fan base are going to be busy and they're not going to be watching it live. I can't imagine it's easy to schedule things. In fact, I know for a fact it's not easy to schedule things because I had a short stint on the commission a number of years ago, and it's hard getting everything stitched together and your calendar. But yeah, ideally you wouldn't want major races clashing with national races,
because we saw a lot of them go away from the national, obviously, to go race the World Cup, which then meant the elite category wasn't as strong as what it usually is. Still was a good class.
Yeah. So it's missing riders, but also you got your fan base not able to watch it live as well.
Yeah.
It's a busy few months. I was looking at the calendar again, and there's a lot going on. Although you've got a gap now till Birmingham National, haven't you? And so is the national champs the same weekend?
Yeah, on the Friday night. National champs the Friday night, and then we've got the national Saturday and Sunday. It's only like 3 weeks away. I've got like 2 regionals in between that, and then you got a World Cup this weekend as well. So it's still June's a mad June and first couple of weeks of July is just carnage.
Busy. What regionals have you got coming up?
Got Birmingham Regional this weekend, which will be busy as hell, I'd imagine, with the national coming up. And then off to Telford after that, which used to have nationals, to be fair, as well. So yeah, two good standard tracks in the Midlands there for regionals.
Yeah, good ones. All right. So Sarrians, good results, not necessarily what we expected. Strong French. Seeing what happens at Papendal. Basically the same entry list for Papendal, although there's a few other people that are making the trip for Papendal that weren't at Sarrians.
Kai White.
Kai, that's the big news. That's the big news, is not seeing Kai racing for so long that it's like so keen to see it. And I think it's a track that's going to let him pedal as well, which hopefully is a good thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've seen enough of him building his bike now. I've seen it every other day. I want to see him riding it. I'm well looking forward to that.
What bike was he on last year? Was he Supercross
GT.
last year as well?
GT.
No, GT.
All right, so this is
Supercross,
out of the box. First time we're going to see it on a big stage.
Looks nice, to be fair.
It does look like a nice bike.
Get that one on a...
Can I jump back onto Sarrian just a touch?
Yeah.
Joris had a bit of a howler. I say a howler. It's not a howler. He still made a main, but it wasn't up to his standard. I really like the fact that Drew Polk made semis in Elite. I think he's come up quick. I think he could have stayed U23, but he hasn't. Class. On pass by talking about the whole event without talking about Emily Hutt.
Yes, that move.
The world's best burn move that she went from 7 to 3.
That was mad. Like, I've watched that back so many times, and part of me's like, where the hell have they just gone? And then they flip it, and then I go, no, she's just absolutely nailed them all. That was quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, the high-low of all high-lows, that is. And if you haven't seen it, go see it.
Yeah, she got third in a second, which is amazing because I feel like she looks really sharp. I feel like her turns are amazing. She's starting well. She's one of the only ones that was like jumping, like tripling and then doubling on the second straight. So like she's really popping her head up and saying like, I'm here. So Papendal, maybe that might suit her a bit better. We'll see how she gets on, but she looked wicked.
She can definitely ride a bike, can't she?
Yeah. We've known that forever, so that's been a good one. And then the other thing that's really, really funny that I feel like I should have prepared for, 2 in 1 out, which, let's face it, it's one of the best BMX media sites out there. It might be all memes, but it's pretty decent for like actual information. They were asking about brothers and sisters and siblings and that type of thing that were racing. I think there's 4 Classens that are now riding at a championship level. There's Zoe, Jade, Ines, and I think there's a boy, isn't there? forgot his first name though, and I feel bad for it. I think he might be U23. So there's 2 U23 girls, an elite girl, obviously Zoe, and then her brother.
That's good.
And it's
They
amazing
come
because
from-
they come from good stock.
Good stock. Good stock.
But,
Did we find out who else there'd been in terms of siblings? Obviously, we've had a number of whites on the track at the same time. We've had shippers.
Obviously, the Smolder's got.
I should have collated it. Yeah,
the Greenoffs. Is
the Greenoffs.
Greenoffs. That's it.
I'd probably like to count married couples like Mariana and Pelaward. That's a bit of a weird one, but it's the same link. The Maps. That's a UK one.
Yeah.
Chris rang me actually a few hours ago and complimented the pod, so shout out to Chris.
Oh, I've got to ring him back. I've got a missed call off him, to be fair.
Oh, I feel disappointed. He hasn't been in touch with me.
Yeah, if I didn't pick up, he'd be on the phone to you. So I don't know who else there is actually, but there's a lot of siblings. Yeah, but I think there's 4 Classens, which is the Beatties, of course. Yeah, there's loads. I feel disappointed for not preparing that. Sorry.
That's a good one. That's the one for the comments. Chuck the siblings
Comments will get in on that one. Comments have been a little bit on dry side, I think only because it's been a week since the last one. I think Kev Brown's behind on his episodes. He was asking me to get episode 3 out. I didn't have the heart to tell him we were recording 5. I think he's behind. His internet's gone. He's not paid his bill.
Well, I'm getting more and more people at the National coming up saying they're enjoying it. So people must be still listening.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Big Daddy Taylor Andrews has commented on Spotify.
So
he says he's actually left a bit of a question, which I'll shoehorn in now then if you want. He's put, I am paraphrasing here, he's put something along the lines of, as the GOAT debate is settled, because I personally believe it's Joris. Yeah, it's Joris.
Yeah, that's definitely Joris.
No question. It's not even a podcast anymore, really. It's not a question. Maybe the old school dudes still think there's a question, but for me, it's not. He said, who is a streets won't forget name? Have you heard of this terminology in Australia, Dex? The streets won't forget. So it's really related to football. So it's not the most successful person or the most famous person or anyone that was like, lit the world up. But it might be someone that's been remembered for a real reason or left a mark on the scene. There's a thing in the UK where on social media people might be sharing things like Barclay Men, which was when the Premier League was a Barclays League, was the Barclays Premiership. There was certain players that were like would be like flash in the pan. You'd see them and they'd be amazing, or they'd go away quickly, and this would be the theme really. So Taylor said that his streets won't forget riders in the UK. Dan McBride, Dan McBride was there for a long time and really bright light and won everything as an amateur, and then obviously got on the GB squad and had some success. And then he said in the world was Mark Willers. And I'd argue that Mark Willers probably didn't reach his potential because he was there knocking on the door all the time. But then that throws the question out to us really. He's asking who are your streets won't forget names? That's
a good question.
England, I'd go Tuftsy. I used to love watching Tuftsy. And if I'm going one in particular, if we're talking about Tuftsy, I love the interview he did when we was on Sky Sports at Burnham after he smashed Scott for the title. And it's the most awkward interview, but so brilliant with him. He's like, first straight got a bit hectic, and then just took move and smashed him. He's my best mate as well. Like, it's the most... I love that interview. If we need to find that.
Tuftsy did that massive triple on that French road trip, didn't he?
Yeah.
That enormous triple that everyone was trying.
Yeah. Montelimar. I had to get that one right. Yeah, that was on the Sheffield Dirt Society trips. I'm sure the YouTube video is still around. I know the song that's playing when he does the jump. And forgot the name of it, but the song fades out and then he comes in pedaling, obviously flats, hitting it about 40 mile an hour and just skies it for at least 4 seconds.
Sheffield Dirt Society, that's a legit crew to have been part of.
Well, they used to do their South of France trips, didn't they? Yeah. Which were insane.
You did a few, didn't you, Peter?
No, I never did any. No. I've actually only been to South France once before Fréjus. No, but they used to, I think it was Joey Goff that used to do a video each year that they went out. But insane.
Yeah. Look good, that one. Yeah, Tuffsy's my one for the UK.
Yeah, that's a good one. I wish I'd spent time thinking about this.
Are you going, Peter?
I'm going to go on a similar vein, and this is probably a little bit of location bias, but I'll say Warren Bancroft.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
So when I think about Tuftsy and I think about the skill and I think about how he lit it up and, most of it on flats, fair enough was or wasn't on flats, but Warren had the potential to be the best and was one of the most exciting riders out there. And one of my first memories is being from Crewe, seeing Warren turn up on his Haro, and he was on Haro right track, and similar, very laid back Warren style, would come straight onto the track from home with his helmet on his handlebars, and he's, for example, he's like backpack on his back, and he'd just go onto the track and just jump everything.
Yeah.
So like for me, he was iconic. He towed me in a few jumps, like big jumps that I did like early in my BMX life, really. Like taught me how to do a few things. So, and I think he could have come on and done whatever he wanted, really.
It was his knee that held him back.
Yeah, he had injuries and a bit of motivation, really. But Warren could have gone and done anything. I remember when we went to 2004 Worlds in Valkenswaard, Warren was in junior men. And he was killing it. It was easy for him. He's winning all the motos and the rounds. And obviously them days, 16s and 8s. And I think he just come unstuck in like a quarter or something. But I felt like at that time that could have been a key to the door for him if he'd got really good. And, main podiumed even. That could have been the start of something. But yeah, I always looked up to Wazza. So he's my name.
Yeah. Did he come back? Because most people came out the woodwork for the 2012 Worlds. Did he? I can't remember. Did he ride them? Because he certainly got his bike back out, because I didn't know him back in the day. But I've ridden with him since, So he'd rock up with his high vis on his bike and then get on the bike and just go around jumping everything. I'm pretty sure he pulled his bike out same time as everybody else did for 2012.
Yeah, I can't say exactly the years, but he did. He had his his Abent TR7, and I think he got that sprayed and did a couple of years, in whatever the class was at that time, 25, 29, 30 plus.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been 30 plus. It would have been 25, 29 probably.
Yeah. But yeah, Warren was class.
Big fun.
You never know. These people always appear again. I haven't got one. I need to go and think who my Streets Won't Forget person would be.
DJ Baldwin.
Oh, well, his name did cross my mind when we were talking about it, for thinking what he's done, and he was just balls to the wall, all or nothing. And when I first got back into bikes, I was nowhere near him, so I didn't really know him, because I wasn't kind of racing at the same quality. I'm sure I was in the same age class though.
He should have had a lot more crashes than what he did.
Yeah, he should have.
I've got one. I've got a name. Rich Beatty.
I was going to say him earlier when we were talking about the Beatty brothers. I was going to say,
my God, and the non-related Beatty.
Yeah. Because he was rapid.
Oh, he was insane.
Was he a mountain biker?
Insane. Yeah. He used to race it was probably before Philcross, so it's like a dual slalom. But Rich Beatty would just come out and beat Jamie Staff at Harworth.
Monster. Yeah.
And
that was his local track though, weren't it?
If this guy could like turn it on and like attend some European races, it felt like he could win them. Yeah. That was like my view anyway. It was insane.
Yeah, he was
Shout out to the riders who are just absolutely off their heads and focused on nothing but winning. So Baldwin, and he definitely did, and we have to talk about Cheddar, when just for shits and giggles for the crowds, he hit that third straight so high on his Floval flyer, and he must have dinked the landing, but fully snapped the front end of it off. And yeah, he might have got carried away on a stretcher or something, I can't remember, but he was fine, like basically. So he just took that attitude through to racing. But there's loads of old boys that were just, and even more reckless when you're an old boy, that you're in real trouble if you get onto the gate with them. I've raced next to Pete Butler, who I think's been in and out, and I think he might be racing at the moment. And he knocked me off. He didn't try and knock me off, but he wanted to be the other side of me, and nothing was going to stop him. And just complete focus on, I don't care what's happening on Monday morning. I'm going to win this race today. And there'll be loads of others that you'll have raced with.
Yeah, there's always that one that's carnage, isn't it? I mean, I was always worried with certain people behind me, with like Dan White. I knew he was going to smash me if he had the chance. Tuftsy exactly the same. There's a few, isn't there, that you just know.
I got some names. Luke Gamble.
Yeah.
Gamble.
Yeah.
Gamble is a Streets Won't Forget. There's the one that I maybe should have chosen, Taylor. but Gamble left a mark on BMX that for people of our generation will never go away.
That final season of his, well, I believe it was his final season. It was like Chris Jackson and Gamble that battling for the final, and I think it was at Bristol where he does this jump. Some people say he jumped over the line and landed back on the track.
Contentious. Do you know what? Contentious, and we might have found a link there, Sean.
Oh yeah, go on.
We're talking about a line, but
yeah,
that
I could link us in.
I can specifically remember it was Bristol, and Jackson's leading it. And Chris Jackson's another streets won't forget, because he was, throughout my sort of teenage years, he was our fastest rider. Will Buck, Robbie, you, Sean, Jackson.
Cheers, mate. I had some good battles with Jackson until he started training properly.
So Gamble, he sort of went off the track, but in the air, didn't he? So there's a question there, because the jump's a bit of a hip. So he took off inside the line, landed inside the line, and then took the win, really, for the title.
Yeah. I was rolling around in third, I think, behind him.
He was an all-or-nothing rider. I remember when I first started doing it in 2008, and I was watching videos, because Mad Moley used to do all those videos from the North region, and I was watching one from Hartlepool, which was dirt berms, and there wasn't many dirt berms in 2008.
It's still up on YouTube, you know. Still up on YouTube.
Well, they're worth a look at, because the payback class from Hartlepool, I'm sure Gamble was in it, Flemdog was in it, so you'd had the mix of all these crazy names, and that was a hell of a race. True story about Gamble, and I really like him and I enjoy his company. We were on a night out in Crewe, a load of us. I can't remember what it was for. I don't know if it was for maybe Copy or maybe it might have been Reedy's birthday or something weird. Gamble had the wrong shoes on, and they wouldn't let us go into a particular club in Nantwich, which is a little village not far away from Crewe. So Campbell traded his shoes with a guy in the pizza shop. So he took the guy in the pizza shop's slip-ons, gave him his trainers, spent the night in this club where we weren't allowed to be in Nantwich, and then swapped his shoes back with the guy in the pizza shop before the end of the night.
Sounds like a scene out of In-Betweeners, that does.
Really did it. Definitely really did it.
It was, though. Yeah, that was like, that was the Catchers or something in Nantwich.
The Catchers, yeah.
Shout out to Nantwich.
Shout out to the Catchers.
Shout out to the Catchers. Yeah, man. Gamble was a personality, man. He was, he's a good sport. He's exciting to watch, wasn't he?
He was always came as a pair with Fieldhouse, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's got a tattoo of Billy Fieldhouse on his leg, along with his mum and dad.
Shut up! I did not know that.
How did you not know that?
Are they related then, or does he just think he's a hero?
Hero.
I rate that. Rate that.
Yeah. He loves him. I asked him
That's
probably on that night in the Catchers. I said, why have you got a tattoo of Billy Fieldhouse on your leg? And the answer was something along the lines of, I love him.
That's quality. That's the dream, isn't it? Someone having a tattoo on you, of you. I've got to turn the light on.
It's a good tattoo as well. You can easily tell. You can completely tell it's him. It's good quality.
This is where you see if I've got shorts on or not.
Well, as long as we don't get anything hanging out the shorts. Right, shout out Gamble. That was a good link into things that, he did stand up with short shorts on as well.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he comes back. He's putting his light on.
Should we try set up this tedious link then?
Yeah, let's try and set up this tedious link to contentious moves.
I think it was a 2007 series of nationals where Gamble beat Jackson on the last turn, and there was a question on whether he crossed the line or not. And this past weekend, Gosport was obviously the national.
This. Yes.
So there was a contentious call, and I'm just going to try and get the screens in the right place here.
Yeah. So while we're doing this, to everyone that's listening, we're going to try and share a clip off Instagram, which we think we're allowed to do, so we can look at the move.
Yeah, so Ben Cornish, I was going to say was robbed, but it technically wasn't robbed, was he? Yeah, I suppose we can when it loads up, we can talk you through it. But he goes into the second. Okay, yeah, so he goes into the second corner, leading.
We're seeing the comments though in front of the thing.
Yeah,
this is Instagram on a PC. So, for example, I can't really tell, but. Right, here's the lap. So this is going to go on a loop. So this is the first straight, Cornish in the pink helmet, if anyone can see this at all.
So he goes in first, doesn't he? Comes out first, but gets DQ'd for crossing the white line. Now, the white line on the outside, not on the inside. We probably need to be clear on that. But it's Taylor Hunt, isn't it?
I wish I'd prepared this better, but I've paused it because Instagram's video capability isn't the best. So Cornish is on the outside here. That's right, isn't it, Sean? He's in the pink lid.
Yeah.
And goes into the turn. I'll do another little pause. Goes into the turn on the outside.
Taylor Hunt on the inside. Both good
there's a
racing
bit of a
lines.
squeeze. And then I guess what the contention is here is that Cornish runs a little wide there.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah.
And that's
So
it. That's the incident in its entirety, isn't it? That's it.
So he crosses the
The
right
lap
line on
carries
the
on.
outside, but he then gets DQ'd, which obviously he wasn't happy, and the people weren't happy. It was probably, and I agree. I'm not happy with it. I think it's harsh, but I know the rules, and it was actually the correct call, despite it being a harsh call, because the actual wording is if they cross the line and they gain an advantage, then he's going to get DQ'd. Now everyone was like, oh well, he went in first and he came out first. There was no gain advantage, and then it's a case of if he was going to have to stay inside that white line, he'd have had to brake, he'd have had to slow down. Taylor Hunt would have probably passed him. I completely hate that rule. And the only thing I can blame here is Gosport for painting the lines a bit too close to the. Like paint your white lines right over the other side, and it'll be all sound. Everyone will be fine. But look, I'm only joking. Gosport, you put on a great event.
So that's the pinch point there, isn't it? That
he's out.
Had Ben been able to stay in that white line there, would him and Taylor have come together, or would he have been able to keep the lead? I guess that's the question there, isn't it?
I feel harsh.
He's on top of the turn there.
Yeah. Some people would have called it, some people wouldn't. I think a lot of people wouldn't have been bothered. Obviously, Taylor might have been, if he didn't get called DQ'd for it. But can I just say about this? Ben Cornish, right? What the nicest kid in the world. And I talk to him every now and again. But as I was camping there, so I camped with my caravan and then my van, and then he walked through the middle of it as I was coming out of my caravan, and he went, "Oh, I'm so sorry for walking through your camping spot." And then he realised it was me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I am actually sorry," but like, I thought, how polite is that kid to apologise for walking through when everyone else just walks through anyway? He's a nice kid. He's a good kid.
No, that's
nice.
good. And I reckon if it hadn't been called, the other people in that race, I imagine wouldn't have had an issue with it, because generally speaking, it's only if someone cuts the inside and makes it shorter that it sort of upsets you. If someone's going round the outside, like, it tends not to. But the letter of the law is the letter of the law. The spirit's a bit different. If it was a car race and you went off the side of you went right round the rumble strip and perhaps touched a bit of the grass, but held onto your car and managed to make the turn, you probably wouldn't get DQ'd. But maybe there's the letter in the spirit. It's a tough job being a commissaire. It would have been nice to see him not called on that one, even though the law.
I mean, I respect the comms because they do it for NAFL, don't they? And all they get is they get their accommodation not paid for. They get a contribution to it, and then they get some mileage as well, and the rest they do it off their own back. So they're not making money here, guys. Like, I respect. Poor Des. There's a great picture of Des McCrum from, I was going to say Glasgow, but you told me off for saying Glasgow when we were talking about the Cumbernauld regional, national even, to which I said they're both shitholes. He didn't like that a bit.
I imagine he wouldn't.
No, poor Des had to tell him because he was on the finish line. There's a great picture of Des telling him, and you can see he's hating every minute of it, and you just shattered a little kid's dream.
Yeah, it's
I like that.
Coats.
But shout out the volunteers. You get nothing for doing these things. We talked about it off air the other week, going, we got zero interest in driving around the country to stand on berms and do these things. But God, I'm glad people do.
Yeah, we volunteered to do this as well, don't we, guys?
Well, this is different.
Yeah,
this is the epitome of BMX media. This is where the very, very best happens.
I came in running with one of the comms as well at the weekend. I don't know if you saw my first moto on Sunday. Had to get rerun. I was not happy. I got 3/4 of the way round and they've red flagged it because someone had crashed in the last corner.
What's that for?
Someone had crashed in the last corner.
Crash.
But we're all single file. I reckon we could have probably got around, but I get it. Safety was on the inside of the corner, racing line, all that kind of stuff. I was just more annoyed that I had to do another lap 10 races after because we had to get squeezed in. Because of us at Masters, we were probably like, we're quite close to the end. So we had to get our race in before the second rack of moto started because it had messed up all the scores. So we didn't get much rest. And I need a lot of rest.
That lactic acid was building up.
Something like that.
Do you do it properly like the pros, or do you just keep your short seat post in and just go straight back and sit down after your race?
I don't even own a long seat post.
Seat post is seized in. No chance.
Mate, I tell you what I have been doing recently is nicking Harry Donald's, because now he's obviously bigger. He's got all the gear, like his dad's got everything. So he comes out, he comes back to the tent, does his cool down, and I'm like, can I nick your long seat, mate? I'll go off and do a little ride, pull some wheelies, and then back. We're good to go.
They're great for wheelies, aren't they? Long seat posts.
Yeah, all fun. I probably should do a bit more. I mean, I've seen Billy Luckhurst with his stretchy elastic band and all that kind of stuff, giving it all that. But I don't.
That's why he's winning, Sean.
Masters.
That's why he's winning.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah. Oh yeah, on the topic of like old people injuries we were talking about last week, we had 3 dropouts at Gosport on day 2. We started with 11 and we ended up with 8 because of old people injuries. Like, my knees hurting. It was like, yeah, we're dropping out.
Talking
You
about
can
old
always
people.
guarantee. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I thought we were done on that point. I was just going to say about the other winner.
Who's that?
For elite.
Oh, yeah, go on. Let's get into that.
Cal won.
Yeah.
Cal won.
And thus started a conversation on who is the oldest elite winner of a national. And we think it is Cal.
Yeah, so off the back of that, because I put a post on BMX Hype, Kelvin messaged me because he loves this kind of stuff. So Kelvin Beatty dives into the DMs and he said he thinks he's second, Cal being the first. So Cal is 34 and 10 months. Kelvin was 34 and 2 months. And he thinks Dale was 33 when he won. Now, we then said, what about Hilly? Because Hilly's well old. Hilly's not well old. Sorry, that's a bit harsh. But Hilly's old. I know he listens, so I have to quickly backtrack. The whole Hilly family does, all 20 of them. But then we was like, what about Hilly? He must have surely won some at a later stage in his career. Hilly's only won 1 national in elite, which we could not believe. And it was about 26.
There's a stat. Yeah.
He said he's won a lot
I can't
of...
believe that.
Yeah, so he's won a lot of finals, but he was in the era when there was 3 finals. So he might have won like a final and then got a 6th. But then he didn't win overall. So he was in that kind of era. So he's only ever won 1 national, which is mad. And on the topic
what
of
age was
wild,
it when he won that?
I think he said 26.
Yeah. When was Bloomy's last win?
Well, I messaged him and he ignored me.
Because he must have
He's a
been...
bit busy though, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got a bit on. He's got a bit on this past couple of weeks.
How
But
dare
he
he
must have
answer
been
me?
close to 30 or over 30.
Yeah, I think he would have been.
I think he definitely would have been because he had a break, didn't he? And then sort of re-entered elite at like an international level at like 28, 29, did he not?
Yeah.
I seem to remember when he was like in Tula and he made a main that his first elite main was like 30. Yeah, a Supercross.
Post 30, I think you've got to look at Bloomy, Kelvin, Dale, Jamie, Staff, and Cal. And then obviously you might want to go back to like your gaff shooters and all that, but I don't really know those kind of stats. I suppose that's where Dale comes in. But yeah, plus 30s, still got it.
Old
What
man
else
Cal.
is going on at Gosport then?
Well, Hilly wrapped up. Here's an interesting stat. Since I was talking about Hilly, and Hilly wrapped up his 10th title in a row, national title. However, he's done 10 BMX titles and 10 cruiser titles. So he's done 20 titles in a row. Like,
That's a start, isn't it?
So he's won national every year for the past 10 years.
yeah, on both bikes.
He's
That's
unreal.
amazing.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
incredible.
don't know Hilly that well, but obviously I've raced with him. He's just the epitome of efficiency. When I think about Hilly, he's just efficiency. He rocks up, he wins, disappears, rocks up, wins, disappears. Just efficient.
He's BMX, isn't he? He just lives BMX. BMX
It
is
seems
life.
they all do, don't they? They seem to all ride together. Is it I'm gonna get this wrong, Sean. Is it Jared that's doing his first Supercross at Papendal this weekend?
Yeah, Jared, yeah.
Jared's the one. Because I remember him being born because it was like Jared Graves. It was like after Jared. So how old is he? Like 17, 18?
I don't know if he was
It's
born in 04 because I was in Klatovy in Czech Republic, and I'm sure I remember this, and it's weird that what you're remembering it. That Mum and Dad had bought him a little hill race top as a baby suit. They'll probably tell me I'm wrong here, but I'm sure it was Klatovy 04. Does the maths add up?
I think Klatovy was 05 though.
05, is it? Okay. Does that add up?
The Euros with the big deep jumps
Yeah.
and the
They weren't-
left
they weren't-
90
Yeah, that was the one that Charlie did shinny in.
in the 90 turn.
Yeah, went underneath, like shinny
Yeah.
shot off, and then for some reason was lining up that big second straight, but then railed the corner so wide, and then Charlie came underneath and just said, "See you later," cut her off.
That
I
track
think-
though, that track was that big dog leg, wasn't it? The first straight.
Yeah, it was horrible. Thomas Allier, though, I remember picking up through that first one. That was nice. Sorry, we digressed. How the hell did we get to Clatavi from Hilly winning?
Gosport, and we went to Hilly, and then your mum and dad buying the Hilly as a baby
okay.
grow or a race kit. Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
See,
The
it's not
Hillies.
planned.
How many trophies have they got? Like, do they have a storage unit?
They must have loads.
Just a container out in the garden.
Yeah.
Has he ever been at the Grands, Hilly? He must have been.
I think he has. I'm sure
He
he
must
went
have come
about
home
2-3
with a
years
big
ago.
trophy.
Answers on a postcard.
Yeah, he'll know. So anything else from Gosport? It's a great track. I like Gosport.
I enjoyed it. It's the first time I've rode there since the old track that was like 400 straights. It was a good track. It was nice and easy, and yeah, it was good. Great event. Really like they put pedestrian lights from the campsite over to the track. Great for kids. Although I did
What
lose.
boring observation, Sean. That's
Mate,
awful.
I'm a dad
Well,
now.
he's at that
so I'm
age
about
now.
Road safety. I did lose Milo. We lost Milo for 20 minutes.
I don't know if you should admit that, Sean.
Well, I've done it at Bournemouth with Henry back in the day. It's terrible, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, it was scary.
Where was he?
Just riding around aimlessly like it was nothing. Mum's crying. The eldest is crying because he's feeding off her, and he's just waddling around. Worst thing is, I didn't realise that so many kids wear white helmets. I'm like, right, he's got a white helmet on, it'll be easy to spot. Fucking everyone's in a white helmet. So buy different colour helmets, people, if you don't want to lose your kids. It was scary.
Yeah, it's the worst, and it's the best feeling when you find them. I lost Henry at Bournemouth on that epic weekend, and we can fully timeline that weekend on another show. But he was playing down the river with Frankie Dobson because they didn't really like bikes, and they play. He was down the river, but he was safe enough. But then I went down to check on him, and he wasn't there. And I went everywhere. And Bournemouth, you can kind of disappear out the campsite, and you end up on the heath somewhere.
Yeah.
So I was up there riding round on my 38 special. I was looking for him. I missed my B final, and B finals were a big deal for me, and I didn't get many, and I missed that on day one. And then I think he just same as Mike, just appeared from the crowd. But that was the worst, and everyone was in tears. And where is he? And where's he gone?
Yeah, we had a lot of people looking. Yeah, it is what it is. Watch your kids, people.
You're supposed to do that loud looking when they disappear, where you're like you wandering around going, "I'm looking for a boy in a white helmet on a blue bike," and which is super embarrassing to do, but you have to if you've lost your kid.
I've got a whistle, so I'll just whistle really loud, and they usually just come back because they'll just like, "Oh, that's Dad's whistle," and they'll come. And I was doing that, and I was like, right, he's gone far, but we found him.
Right, happy days. So, on that note of good news, let's talk about Papendal, who look like they're going to put on a big event. So, I imagine that the same characters are going to be ready for it.
This is your powerhouses, isn't it? Go on, Booter, you go.
Do you know what? I want to see. I like Papendal every year. I like the fact that you can pedal at it. There's been some changes this year. First straight looks a little different now. I'd love to see Jamie O'Brink and see how he's doing, because he made the main in Sarrion, had to do the cool jump to manual over the top of Renkerel's head.
Yeah,
that one got shared on socials quite good. Don't know if did you see that, Dex, in the main?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, Renkerel gets it wrong, goes over the bars. Neo's behind him, has to take a bit of a line that is jump, then manual. It's great anyway, but I'm glad to see Jamie making a main at a stacked World Cup, absolute stacked World Cup. So I'm thinking, what's he going to do? I think Jason Nordam, who doubled in U23, I think he will further his domination in U23. And potentially Michelle Bissing as well, who won it in the women's. I'm looking forward to it for our guys, for a bit of a second chance, really, for Ross. Beth, obviously, podium day 2, but, I'd love to say a win. Emily, to continue that run of good form and see how she does there. I think Beth and Emily, especially just from the girls' point of view, like they've got the skill to do a track like Papendal well. So I think it's great. I think it's great that we've got some junior riders that are just stepping up to their first U23 races. I'm looking forward to Kai. So, I love a Papendal weekend, mate.
I think Isaac Kennedy will do well at this.
Yeah.
I think this is his kind of track.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned him. He had a solid 2 days at Sarrians.
Yeah.
Like good, solid's almost, an insulting thing, like really, really good.
It is, he got second, yeah. So I think he's there. I think there's a few guys like the Swiss, just seem to be so strong, but like quietly good. You know, they'll get 2 guys in the main, and nobody will really talk about it. Beatty or Steiner or Eberhard. They're up there. They've got numbers now. The girls, Zoe obviously won, but then there was Talia Burford was in there, Nadine Eberhard. Like, the Swiss have become like a little powerhouse that might not be podium in every single race, but they're there now. It's good to see.
We talked about it a couple of episodes, didn't we? Like, these are quietly coming up, and for such a small country. But we were saying that they train quite a lot over in Germany, don't they, and things like that. But I think you've got to watch them, haven't you? Because they are going to be, come Olympics time, they're going to be the people that are going to be qualifying 2 free riders even.
Yeah, definitely. I think Coffee Chat talk about the Swiss wagon, like they're just saying how it's like it's rolling, and it really is. And there's an argument that there's maybe a little bit of a weaker Dutch contingent out there at the moment, and maybe the Swiss could move into that zone, because when it does come to the Olympics, it's so harsh, isn't it? That your top nation gets so many places, and then you drop straight off as soon as you're not in that top 4 nations. You don't get the allocations. Don't quote me on them exactly now, but that's so crucial. So it's interesting. Like, this is where Britain have got to really, I think, fight against. You know, they might not be able to come against France. They might not be able to get the allocation, for example, the top position. But in those like 2-3 nation spaces, I think this is where GB could have a fight on.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know we're talking about that, but can we jump back to Sarrians a minute? Because I've just remembered something. We haven't mentioned Sylvain Andre hanging on to that semi-final where day 2, I think it was, he gets shouldered.
Yeah, Cam Wood comes underneath. It's about the best. We shared it, didn't we, on WhatsApp, Sean?
Yeah.
It's about the best piece of defensive riding I've ever seen. Is that you could see it from a mile off what Cam Wood wants to do. He's on the inside line and he's going to take Andre up. And there's an argument that Cam Wood's bars are already in front of Andre. So it's almost like there's no way that he's gonna have to concede. Andre's gonna have to concede. But he just about gets a millimetre in front and just strong arms it, just leans in.
He ships him.
It's
but
amazing.
just not enough, was it? Like,
yeah, Andre's back wheel comes off the track. It skids around a little bit. He stays upright. It's like, if you want to show your kids how to defend the line, it's textbook. In fact, it's beyond textbook because actually 99 times out of 100, Sylvain goes down or concedes and breaks and doesn't concedes a position.
Yeah, no right to hold on to that. And then not only that is to get the pull off that set down that third straight to hold that position of 4th, because everyone else should have been like, here we go, I'm just going to go flying past this guy because he's just literally nearly stopped.
So that it's funny now because now Sylvain's trained by Sam Willoughby. That type of thing reminds me of Sam Willoughby, and I know they wouldn't be. Obviously, there's a continental gap between them, and they're not talking about technique to Sylvain, who's 33 years old, but that kind of thing does remind me of old school Sam Willoughby, when Sam Willoughby would pedal round a turn like in 2012.
Yeah.
What's the name of that Norwegian track?
Yeah, the
indoor one.
Cobbled corners, wasn't it?
The cobbled turn, yes. So Sam is chasing Liam down, isn't he?
Yeah.
Heads into that turn, and it's a 180 turn. And I've never known anyone to be able to do this, and I've never seen it again. But Sam, I don't think Sam stops pedalling.
No, he doesn't.
Round a 180 turn at elite speed. It's a bizarre thing, isn't it? He's turning in 45 degrees and continuing pedalling at the same. Vandenberg, that's the name of the track.
That's it, yeah.
Anyway, I'm geeking out over technique, yeah.
Yeah, but it rubs off like attitude and things like that. Yeah. Hey, we've been going for an hour. We've got one bike to look at, so let's fire that up.
Whose is it? Who we got?
I shall show you in a minute. All right, you seeing this? Neil Brunez, mate of yours, is it?
It is, yeah. Neil Brunez, yeah, BMX hype rider. He's the man I was talking about last week who injured himself doing a box jump.
Yeah, and I saw his Instagram post about that. In
rough.
terms of having a bulged disc or something like that, so he's taking some time out to let it recover. This is a nice bike, because we're back in alloy territory, and I think it looks nicer than a carbon.
Yeah, the Rift. He likes the Rift. To be fair, the old school geometry there, isn't it? It's not really a straight top.
It's quite typical. Yeah, hydroformed aluminium frame. I do like a Rift actually. I think they do graphics really well. I think they're like understated, but they're kind of cool. Yeah, love that one.
7. That's all you need to know. It's
That's
fast. He's doing his weeding. He sort his garden out. Or is that not a weed? That might not be a weed.
I don't know, Sean. It's looking all right. I like the wheels.
Yeah,
Tangent
sick.
turbine rims, carbon rims, gorgeous. He's got his he has got his tyre logo lined up with the valve as well,
He's
which we like that. I've got a feeling that lock ring on that Presta valve looks like it's up. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Looks
Yeah,
like
that
there's a
should be
lock ring
down.
there. Yeah, but
Nice to see DXRs on a bike as well, because a lot of people are running different cranks these days. It used to be that you would only have DXRs. That's the only thing that anyone have. But I'm seeing more Behringers and other cranks these days.
clean. What seat is it? Zoom in on the seat, Dex. Can you zoom in on your...
Tangent.
Yeah.
Is
No,
it?
you can zoom in. It just takes a while.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I can
Got
do
tangent on
tangent.
it. He's got a fair chimney on the front. That
was gonna say,
that steerer
yeah.
tube wouldn't impress Danny Taylor.
Only terribly livid.
Yeah, look at the chimney on that.
Nice,
I
though.
don't think there's anything wrong with the chimney. I mean, you wouldn't want to smack your teeth off it, but his brake lever's really far down, isn't it?
I noticed that, yeah.
That's a Chicago bar angle as well. That's like mid-school bar angle, like over the top of the axle. I do like that. I like the setup. That's how I'd have it set up.
That's the
Yeah.
same as me, yeah. Yeah, big fan of that. Well done. Well done, Neil.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
No BMX
wicked.
hype
Well
stickers
done.
on it,
That
I've
too.
noticed. No BMX hype stickers anywhere.
Well, are you the team manager?
Chris is this year. I think I'm going to take it on next year.
All right. Well, you need to get the email round.
Yeah, got a few lined up.
Right. I've stopped sharing, haven't I? All right. Anything else before we wrap up?
No,
Talked
I
about
think-
Gosport. Talked a little bit about Sarrians. Talked a little bit about Papendal. We've gone on 1,000 tangents.
What's next is what I want to know. What do the people want to hear next? Because we've talked about doing a whole episode on cheddar, and we've talked
should.
about we're doing it, things like that. I think we're due one of them. But what do the people
Talk
want to
about
hear?
cheddar. We should talk about Bournemouth. We could talk about Euro trips, or maybe we just keep talking about a mix of stuff as well and talk about the races. We'll probably do one. We might get another one in before Birmingham National, and then we're going to be getting around to Brits territory and World's territory. That'll come up pretty
There's
soon.
a big old gap.
Yeah,
there, isn't
worlds.
there? Yeah, maybe that's Go on.
Go on, Sean. Sorry, mate.
I was going to say maybe on that big gap bit is where we might try and get someone on. I don't know. Maybe do a bit of digging on with someone. Any sugar daddies, any elite riders who want to come and talk to us, we can get them on.
I think there's opportunity for like doing a little bit more nostalgia stuff as well. So, you could argue that we could prepare a top 3 this or a top 3 that. Rank your riders, tracks, moves, anything really. Best gait, best form. Anything that gives a little bit of old school nostalgia, I suppose. Because we're
Top
old.
3 nights out with Gamble.
Yeah. Top 3 scandals, anything like that.
That'll be a good one.
Oh, that might be a controversial one.
Top 3 fights. Yeah. Who
That could be
punched
a good
who at
one.
what campsite,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, really.
Can you remember? I don't know if you guys were there. Derby Brits one year, right? It was AD and Kev Blackman. Do you two know
Do you
this story?
remember? Yeah,
I
they were
wasn't
at
there.
it. They were at
So
it in
they were
practice.
at each other in the pens. It's his practice, yeah. And then I think one of them does one in the corner. I can't remember which way. And then they come back round, the pens, they're going at each other again. Next minute, bikes are on the floor. They're having a little scuffle. No word of lie. They kind of just ignored each other and thought, I'm not going to punch you. I'm going to jump on your bike instead. And then you've got both of them just jumping on each other's bike, trying to break their wheels. It was the most childish thing I've ever seen.
I've not even heard that.
Mate, it was so funny.
When he
It
said
was
jump on the bike, I
probably-
thought, well, like ride away. But no, you mean like try and trash the bike.
Yeah. They just
It's going
thought,
to
I
be
don't
like
fancy a fight.
2010, 11, 12, that sort of time.
That was a funny one. Talking of punch-ups.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, they were nibbling away all around the track. I don't know why they'd fallen out.
I think just one cut the other one up in practice.
In practice, though.
British champs, isn't it? Stakes are high.
Yeah, stakes are high, pressure's on.
We could do a top 3 scandal, Sean, or a top 3 like decisions. For example, talking about Derby Brits, we could talk about like the disqualification of a few years ago when you were in the main.
Yeah, tried to move and failed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's all
he
sorts.
weren't happy there, was he?
Yeah, there's all sorts.
But yeah,
I think in my last Brits, I cut the corner in the semi for 4th and got away with it and made the main, which was the best I'd ever done at the Brits. But I'm pretty sure I cut the corner and it wasn't called.
I'd have
We had
been
flowers.
Well, We'll email Rhea then and get it rescinded.
Yeah, that'd be
Get removed from the site.
See nothing, Ewan.
Ewan, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
take
right.
it if you like Lance Armstrong's Tour de France's.
No, dear, but don't, because I've got it somewhere. I've got a 7 plate somewhere in the house, and it's the best I ever did.
Who did
So
you
don't
do it
take it
on?
off me.
Who did you do for fifth?
John Hines.
Oh, sorry, Heinzie.
Yeah, sorry, John.
Oh, so we can get it posted to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. It was dressed. They had flowers on the inside turn. It was turn 3, and I didn't intentionally cut it, which is what anyone would say. But I'm pretty sure I was over the line. I may have even took some flowers.
Daisy's in the pedals as he gets to the line.
Yeah,
Quality.
it's a rubber the green, isn't it? You got to take the ups and the downs.
Too right.
All
Yeah.
right, let's finish there, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Cool.
Cheers,
See you later,
everyone.
guys.
Play the jingle on
Thank
the
you.
way out.
Oh well, I'm never going to get the jingle now at this point in time, but I'll stick it on at the back end. You're gonna have to listen to the song again. So yeah,
Enjoy.
See you later, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, here they are, late to the gate and racing out of lane 8. Your men, Dex, Booter and Issy.
Riders ready, watch the gate.
Bikes in the van, phone in hand, BMX track in the foreign land. Dex missed his flight, it's late. I don't know why we're late to the gate. Beers and bikes, we ride all night. Euro trips and rider hype. From nationals to car park chats, we chase that dream in new era caps. Sugar daddies in the VIP. BMX moms still faster than me. Dex and Buddha is it too. Talking trash, we ride it true. Baggy jeans and studded belts. The party is chaos, nothing else. Clips or flats, deadlifts or squats. Still arguing like it means a lot. Crank it up to 99. UK tracks with your lines. We're always slow, we talk a lot. But for real, this is all we've got. Late to the day, y'all.